All right, so today's video is basically going to be about me sharing some things that I have been thinking about and reflecting about. And maybe you could try the same, ask yourself the same questions, and hopefully it's of some value. So it all started with me deciding to stop using Instagram. And as I was realizing that that was my biggest way to kind of numb myself and stop feeling, all right, to run away from my feelings. So I have been off of Instagram for nearly 2 weeks now. And I heard Dr. K say once, he's a YouTuber who posts about mental health. And he says that once you stop indulging in these distractions, like, social media, video games, whatever it is, whatever you're using to numb yourself, that underneath it all, you will find a scared kid. And he also says that, just stare at a wall, right? I think that's just his way of saying, stop numbing yourself and just do nothing for a bit and allow everything to come up, everything that you've been pushing down. And I stopped using Instagram and I stopped scrolling mindlessly. And I think I found someone I could barely recognize. At first, it seemed like I was just scared. And then I realized that there was also a lot of anger. And I had no idea that I was carrying so much anger and sadness. I mean, I had some idea, but didn't know it was like this bad. Um, but yeah, I felt myself getting really, like I felt the anger come up and the sadness like really intense. And that's, I guess, the first thing I would say is to stop whatever you're doing to numb yourself for a while and see what comes up, right? Um, Especially it's better if you have like if you live with your family or if you have your friends like close by. Um, like if you have your loved ones who are reachable, then it would be even safer for you to like stare at a wall and see what comes up. So yeah, that was the first thing I experienced this past week. And the second thing that is probably related to this, or maybe a consequence of this, is that I've realized that I do most things out of fear and that I'm horribly scared of so many things and that most of my actions are flowing from a state of fear, from a place of lack, as some people would say, from a place of not enough or not feeling good enough. And I've always wanted to do things in a pure way, especially if you're doing it for someone else. Like I've always wanted to take actions out of love and out of like purely for the sake of the other person, actions that are devoid of personal gain, where the action itself is the end, right? The fact that you got to do this for someone you love, the fact that you got to help someone you love is in itself the reward, and that you don't go on looking for anything else. That's it. That is the blessing and the reward in itself. And I have recently experienced what it's like to really do things out of love, right? And to kind of reach at least a personal record of doing things out of love, um, a personal best, and to see what that feels like and what that's like. And maybe that is what's helped me or played a role in me helping, in me realizing that my other actions are based on fear, right? Because now I actually have something to contrast it with. I have a different reference point that is an outlier. And yeah, that might have played a role in me realizing that I do so much based on fear. And when I say fear, I mean maybe these are like some symptoms of doing things out of fear. Um, when you're doing it for validation from other people, when it feels like you're outsourcing your entire sense of self, your entire self worth on other people, right? You're just outsourcing the entire thing, where the other person's action could make or break your day. when it feels like you're doing things from a place of just, not enough. Like, yeah. And I thought I was a kind person, and I do try to be, but I'm realizing that I'm just a people pleaser. I'm not kind. Um, Even my kindness, that's something I thought I had built my character around, is based on fear. And the best definition that I have for people pleasing is that when you take actions to try to control how other people perceive you. And my entire life, I've tried to be easygoing, and I've always said yes, and I have always been willing to compromise. And I've just been trying to make people like me, I guess. I've just been trying to somehow control how other people perceive me, just make sure I please everyone so that I can avoid conflict, um, and avoid my own feelings of shame. And it's a tough pill to swallow, I guess. And like I said, because I feel like I've experienced real kindness and love recently, I know what it's like to do it out of something that is real. And now I'm realizing most things other than these experiences were not that. And damn, I have so much work to do. But I've realized that how do you find out if it's out of kindness or not is the resentment that comes with it, right? That probably explains the anger that I hide underneath all this people pleasing. Um, and if you hide it long enough, right, the resentment and the anger, you become like unable to feel it. Probably doesn't mean it's not there. It's probably still there. And I think so much of the anger that I hold is because of all the times that I betrayed myself in order to try to change how other people perceive me. And maybe this is like I'll probably make more videos on these topics. I think these are topics that are very close to me now that I've been working on and figuring out. But it makes such a big difference when you do something out of real love versus out of fear. It's just a completely different experience. And yeah, that was the second thing. Um, I don't really know if I have a solution for this yet, but it's definitely something. Well, I mean, I'm aware of it, which is a good start. But I will most probably be talking about these themes again. And yeah, so I would say in short, if your kindness is making you angry or resentful, it's not kindness, right? Um, I would recommend asking yourself which areas of your life are driven by fear, and maybe reflect on that, see what comes up. And before all this, before the reflection, try to take away some of the things that you use to numb yourself and see what comes up. Face a little bit of what you've been hiding away. Go stare at a wall, like Dr. K would say. And yeah, in summary, those were kind of the takeaways that maybe I would suggest you to think about. And yeah, thank you for watching, and take care of yourself.